to think that both teams will go for the goal.
And you remember when Ivory Coast was playing against Cameroon, once it went to extra time, they really lifted their game. They were the ones who scored that first goal and got things sizzling in the extra time period.
Yes, because you know that extra time is always very difficult. You only have 15 minutes, and then I tell you, if any team scores, and that could be the end of the game. So all the teams will make up their mind that they are coming in to score a goal, so they can close up the game.
And that was your man, Bakary Kone, the scorer of crucial goal so far in the tournament for the Ivory Coast. It looks like Henri Michel has decided that it's time for the Bakary Kone to come in. We'll find out who comes out now for the Ivory Coast. And Neil, you were saying the penalty shootout the other night, the goalkeepers did not touch a ball there for 20, actually all 24 penalties, because Eto's one went over the top. Can the Ivory Coast repeat that sort of quality today?
Like you said, every day is different. Some superb penalties other night. Then tonight can be very, very different.
Great view there for our female viewers across the African continent. Bakary Kone stretching and warming up, and Didier Drogba has a few things to say to his teammates. He's got all the experience, played his football at Chelsea, was at one stage the most expensive footballer from the African continent. Chelsea paid £24 million to get him to come across from Marseille. That was overshadowed just recently by the acquisition of Michael Essien, who came for £24.4 million, and that was from Lyon in France. But there they are, a galvanized unit. They know they've got half an hour more, the Egyptians, to try and get that crowd on their side and lift that trophy and make their president proud. Anybody in the studio want to change their predictions? Neil, you had Egypt. You want to change
now?
No,
I'll go with Egypt, although Ivory Coast have come good in the second period. But I'll go for Egypt.
And then Neil and Abedi, both of you said Ivory Coast. So
we stick to it.
I mean, you're sticking?
Yes.
Everybody's sticking. Okay, Mark Gleeson is standing by. Looks like the substitution is about to be made there, and the man coming out will be Yaya Toure is the man coming out, and it's Bakary Kone coming in. Let's join Mark Gleeson now for the first half of extra time in the final.
So you join us back here in Cairo as the Ivorians look to make another attacking change. Bakary Kone, top player in the French second division last season, comes on. He's now playing for Nice in the French First League, and he replaces Yaya Toure. So a player who scored against Cameroon in extra time in the quarter-final is being brought on to perhaps engineer the same. We're about to get the extra time period underway here. Nations Cup final. It's the Ivorians who won the toss. They'll get matters going, defending the goal to the right-hand side. Still no score, but you'll admit the second half certainly presented a few chances. Didier Drogba notably, and at the other end Amr Zaki had the ball in the net. The referee deciding that the goalkeeper had been impeded. Now Boca into the area looking for Drogba. Ivorians went into extra time against Cameroon in the quarterfinals and scored fairly quickly. They played an extra half hour in this competition and been through the agony of penalties, which Egypt have been spared. They've settled all of their games in 90 minutes, although against Senegal in the semi it was fairly tight. Nice interception here, and fresh set of legs, of course, with Bakary Kone. Drogba behind the defender, gets the header across. Hadri makes the save. Kalu was coming in, nicely floated, and Drogba held it up there for his attacking compatriot. They've got 4 recognised strikers on the pitch now, the Ivorians, with Aruna Kone, who's perhaps running out of a bit of steam. Drogba, I'm sure they won't take off. They'll need him for the penalties if it's to come down to that. And Kalu and Bakary Kone. Both sides have made 2 changes now in this game. One, of course, enforced by injury, while Guma going off very early in the game for the Egyptians. Abu Trika continues. Good defensive work from Kole Toure. Ahmed Fati came on in while Guma's placed Hassan Mustafa on for Emad Motaib fairly near the end. And Makari Kone and Bonaventure Kalu are the two men who've come on for the Ivorians. El Saka, Barakat. This is Ahmed Fati. Abu Trika. Well, I think that's the signal from the coach that perhaps another change to be made. Let's have a look at what Drogba did here. Got a little bit of a touch on the way off the head of El Saka. Kalu in the end didn't really get much of a touch on it. Defence again from Fati. Ivorians leaving a fairly big gap between the four players up front, and then rather defensive-minded midfield and back four. Space for Egypt to exploit. Abu Trika leaves it for his captain. Still nervy approach from both of these sides. Amrzaki up against Kolo Toure. Now the cross in the middle and an opportunity there. Here's Barakat at the back post. His control let him down in the first touch. Penalty against Kouasse. It's another incredible decision. Challenge from Kouasse. Remember, he's been booked already in this game. Well, could the Nations Cup turn here on another flimsy decision from the referee? There was the clearing header. Barakat's first touch let him down. Kouasse, well, he did lead with the studs up and he did connect with Barakat. Well, this will give us a better look. Look 50-50 in there really, and well, a very tight decision to be given in a game of this enormity. Drogba continues his protestations with the referee, Hossam Hassan, who hasn't had a chance to come on. And penalty opportunity. No contact. Doesn't look like it was much contact on that. And still the arguing and the pushing and shoving continues. Now, Drogba getting involved with Hassan there. It's really getting a little edgy, but you can understand the frustration of the Ivorians. Ahmed Hassan, who will take the penalty. He's converted 3 already, 2 of them which counted. He had to take one again in the game against Senegal in the semi-finals. And if he gets it, he'll be up to 5 goals. Drogba can't believe it. Henri Michel says to him, come on, get on with the game now. Unbelievable. He's continuing his protestations with the 4th official. So the penalty to be taken by Ahmed Hassan. And an opportunity for Egypt to finally break the deadlock here and take the lead in controversial fashion. Ivorian goalkeeper, he was beaten 11 times before Eto'o missed in that penalty shootout. Concentrating, the Ivorians are continuing their protests on the side of the pitch. This is a really poor advert for African football now, but you can understand the frustration. incredibly poor. And well, even the coach of the Ivorians going across to say something to Barakat, who went tumbling down there. Drogba getting a yellow card now for his continuing protests. Let's see what Ahmed Hassan can do. So, penalty for Egypt. The captain with a chance to put the home side in the lead. Jean-Jacques Tizi stands between him and Egypt taking the lead here in this Nations Cup. Hassan, oh, justice perhaps. It's hit the upright and gone away. He can't believe it. Well, relief there for Henri Michel. Maybe Drogba now can settle down and get into the game. Ahmed Hassan, normally so reliable, hits the uprights. It's still 0-0. Well, this referee really will have some accounting, hopefully, at the end of this particular performance, but just hasn't been up to scratch in terms of the tension of this particular occasion, and his willingness to award free kicks and that penalty for fairly frivolous challenges would suggest that perhaps not the right man for this occasion. Tension still continuing. The Ivorians are still in it. This stadium stunned into silence. Ahmed Hassan, and that's the reaction from Drogba at Barakat, who the Ivorians are still continuing to accuse of cheating. Here's Kone now, up against Fati. Goes past the two, goalkeeper's out. Left a bit of a leg in there, did Kone. He's tempting perhaps decision in terms of a card that would weaken his side, but the frustration evident from the Ivorians, and he certainly did leave a leg in there, did Aruna Kone. A little bit silly. Al Hadri looks to be okay though. Maybe not. He'll take the kick nevertheless. Kouasse, cover defence up to Kalu. Now Kone battling with Fati, so strong Aruna Kone. Now Bakare Kone, Drogba going to the near post. Al Hadri turns it over the top. Ivorians back in it. Nice save. Minds perhaps now a bit more focused. Kolo Touré providing protection there for Didier Drogba. It's almost like basketball here. A lot of wrestling going on in there. It's a clever move there by the Ivorians just to shield their main target man. Drogba going in. Al Hadri got the punch away. Swung in again. Away from Ibrahim's side on that occasion. Still, it's the Ivory Coast with the attacking initiative at the moment. Boka. Bit of space through the middle here. Fai might try a shot. Stumped his toe in the ground there. Bakare Kone has lifted the side a little bit with his willingness to run at the Egyptians. Henri Michel, well, he would have been relieved at this, but there was almost a sense of resignation about the fact that the Ivorians, who've been on the receiving end of so many controversial decisions in this game, would have conceded a penalty in controversial fashion too, and think in a way Justice served, and it's good for the game too, because what a way for Egypt to win this trophy. Would have left a sour taste in the mouths of everyone save for the Egyptians. Abdel Wahab, good header away from Kolo Toure once more. Another 3 minutes to the half-time switchover. It's not a break, and extra time. Played 12 minutes already. Incredible, the engine of the captain Ahmed Hassan, and he keeps going. He's picked up a bit of a strain there, hamstring, which might have gone. Just stretching it at the moment. Here he is again. Doesn't look comfortable. It will be a big blow for Egypt if they were to lose him. Look at him there, just leaning over and trying to stretch it. It's a measured pass, which not exerting too much of that hamstring. That one again easily given away, but he could be in some trouble. Egypt might be forced to make their third and final change again because of injury. Kone, Kalu. Defenders are in there. Back to Kone again. And it was good clearance from Abdel Wahab. Only as far as Zokra. Shauki, the challenger. Boka. Can't afford any errors. Upward Trika bearing down on the defence there. Now Kolo Toure venturing forward. Suddenly there's a sense maybe from the Ivorians they've had a lucky let-off with that penalty, and also that decision with the goal from Zaki. Most here feel it was Mohamed Shauki who had a leg holding back the goalkeeper and preventing him from getting up and perhaps having another chance to save the ball. Drogba and El Saka are still involved in that tug of war. Both protesting their innocence too. Disappointing kick in there. El Saka clears. Egypt have every man back in their own half at the moment. So intent on making sure that there's no errors. Long one forward. Drogba again. There was a hand in there from the Chelsea striker. Free kick against him. Could this be a match of misses? We've had Drogba's miss, we've had the penalty squandered. Maybe a miss in the shootout will settle it. Taken away by Zaki. Play on. Ibue lives to fight another day. Don't forget he's on a yellow card from midway through the second half. Hassan Mustafa now. There's the whistle, and they'll switch around immediately, these two sides. No chance for the coach to have a talk to them, although the Egyptian coach is trying to call his players across. The referee quickly intervening. They'll switch straight over. Allowed a little bit of water, though. Now, was that a penalty or was it not? Normally so reliable. And that's the reaction here from the crowd. Desperately disappointed Ahmed Hassan, but I think the neutrals will perhaps feel that justice was served on that occasion. So the switch over between these two sides. No changes in the offing either. Don't forget one more off the bench from either side. Ahmed Hassan looks as if he can continue. He's had a bit of a stretch. Two goalkeepers exchanging greetings and just trying to cool it down a little bit now. It's really has been a affair with it air of tension hovering over it throughout. Very early on in the game when Kanga Kale was booked after just 3 minutes. So these fans continue to go through the emotional highs and lows of this final. Half-time at the extra time break. No score, Egypt and the Ivory Coast. The Egyptians to kick this half off. Still the dignitaries are in place. No one will be allowed to leave the stadium before the Egyptian president is whisked away. They lock it down a couple of hours before he comes. All cell phones taken away if you're sitting anywhere near him. There really are draconian measures for his visit, and there was an audible sigh of discerning, of discontent really, when it was announced that he would be coming to the final, because this makes life so difficult for everyone else. So Muradami stands by to get the second period of extra time underway. Check his fellow officials. Ibrahim Said at the back now. El Saka. Are we going to have some attacking enterprise from one of these sides, or maybe both of them in this final quarter hour? Or are they resigned already to having to settle this Nations Cup? It will be the third time in the last 4 editions, if it goes to penalties, that the trophy will be decided in the lottery of the kicks. Handball in there from Hassan, referee allowing play to continue. Kalu. Mustafa did well, gets it out wide. Barakat. Onto the edge of the area now, trying to tee up Schalke, who gets the shot in. Saved by Jean-Jacques Tizi. The referee was a little in the way there. Schalke in the end did well here to set his sights on target, hit it first time and on target. Big clearance from Barakat. Too much of a chase for Abu Trika. Henri Michel, his assistant next to him, Gerard Gili, is a former national team coach of Egypt. Took them to the tournament in Nigeria in 2000. You can understand the pace a little bit more pedestrian now in these closing stages, because of the fact that we are in the last 15 minutes of what will be 2 hours of football. Kone, he's at least got a fresh set of legs. Up to Drogba, back again to Kone. And at the second attempt got the shot in. No power to test El Hadri. Good work though. Enterprising stuff. Need to see a little bit more of that now, just to lift the game, give it at least a resounding conclusion. Amarzaki cross into the middle, and TZ really asking a lot of Aruna Kone. Has been doing a lot of running. Ivorian fans who've been on hand for this tournament. This is that opportunity, the 1-2, Drogba and Kone, who had 2 bites of the cherry. Tense face of the coach there. Now, Zokara. Good turn from Ibue. Is he going to go straight for goal here? Kalu, back again to Ibue. Goal kick it'll be. A real tension now between the Egyptians too. Look at Ibrahim Said coming out here to complain to his captain Ahmed Hassan about lack of aptitude in the midfield. And 32, El Saka is, I suppose, allowed to suffer from cramp at this stage. Young Ibue close there. Bemused look on the face of the captain, who might well have sealed this trophy in Egypt's favour had he converted that penalty. Chase on now for Drogba, up against El Saka. Keep his wits about him and find his goalkeeper. Must be said he's done a good job on Drogba, who's admittedly had one or two very good chances, but in the main, it's been fairly anonymous in this game. Or perhaps not as influential as he might have been. There are 10.5 minutes remaining of playing time at the Nations Cup, and then penalties it'll be. Two of the quarterfinals were settled on penalties, none of the semis, so we've had this drama already, and the Ivorians have been involved once before. They'll be confident, having overcome Cameroon. Free kick, Shalki the offender, and Mesefai going down. Ball into the middle, looks for Drogba. And now Ahmed Hassan. It's over the top and finds Ibue. This is Zokora. Now Boca. Kalu. Ahmed Hassan pushing forward. Abu Trika, a bit of space out wide again for Barakat, operating on the right-hand side today, although he's as adept when he plays on the left. Zaki finds Kola Toure, or Kawasi rather. Goal kick that'll be. So Mido as tense as ever. Abdelimali will be the last Egyptian player to make the change. But they're going to hold off on the substitution because Ibrahim Said, a defender, looks as if he might need to come off. So Abdelimali might not yet get a run in this final. Henri Michel in conversation with Bakara Kone. So Said set to depart. Looks as if a hamstring has been done and his competition is over. So Said will take no further part. Abdelimali standing by to come on. So an attacking player on for the defender. Let's see if Said indeed is the man to depart. There's the change, confirmation. Attacker from Zamalek is Abdelimali. And Ibrahim Said forced out by injury, leaving a gap in defence which the Ivorians might yet be able to exploit, if they've got the energy, of course. A change made with around about 6.5 minutes left in this game. So all three substitutions effected now by the Egyptians. One more in the bag for Henri Michel, although I think when he looks around his bench, looks at what he's got on the pitch out there, probably thinks to himself, no need really. There's no match winners, potential match winners still left on the bench for the Côte d'Ivoire team. Now, Cornet taking on this defence. Abdul Saka has left Drogba, come to challenge him, overhit by the diminutive attacker, and Barakat with some defensive work again. Cornet a little disappointed, I fancy, with that effort. Really are exhausted, these players. To take it. Cross into the middle. Is Drogba perhaps going to get a touch? Here's Kalu. Taken away by Mustafa. The Ivorians, well, they get a chance to set it up again with Cornet. Kalu. Nice touch. Now Cornet. Mishit, Drogba, back to goal, and a good clearance there from Mohamed Shawki. Free kick to the Ivorians, crowd don't like it. Corner brought down on that occasion. Some fairly eccentric decisions must be said by today's referee. Now, time really is ticking away, and they need to make better use of these chances. Foul on the Egyptian goalkeeper, might well have been by his own players. Everybody's falling down all over the place now. Egypt have no more substitutions available to them. They have to get up and continue. Let's see what happened to El Hadri here. It wasn't so much the challenge on him, but perhaps Kouasse. This was Kalu clipping Mustafa on the heels, and he got away with that. The referee said play on. Egyptian crowd willing their team potentially to the trophy here. You imagine the pressure on the Egyptians now as we head to penalties, and if they are to lose in the shootout, the player responsible for that defeat. We're talking ahead of ourselves here, but I think that thought will be going through one or two players' minds. There'll be a general reluctance, I fancy, to take the kicks. It has not been a classic final, that's for sure. You might remember a goalless draw in 2002 in Mali. There, Cameroon and Senegal were a lot more enterprising. A couple of balls from Senegal in particular that hit the woodwork. Came within inches of winning the trophy, eventually losing out. Ahmed Hassan gets the decision there. The 2000 final in Nigeria went to penalties as well. That ended in a 2-2 draw. Rafael Chukwu, former Mamelodi Sundowns player, scored in that game for Nigeria. Now, Abdel Wahab. Corner's been given. Drogba coming back to help out in defence, as is El Saka moving forward. The crowd urging the Egyptians on now. Could this be the turning point? Set pieces like corners mean so rare in this game. Free kicks too in shooting positions that it lifts the tempo not only of the players but the crowd too. Sense, well, maybe something's on here. Much more excited about corners than ordinarily they would be, but there's been a scarcity of opportunity in this game. Barakat takes it. Cleared away. Stuck there for a second or two and presented Egypt with an opportunity. Kouasse with the finishing touch. Despite his youthful looks, he's playing in his 4th Nations Cup finals. Only recently established himself as a regular in the starting lineup. Hassan. This is Barakat. And then the shot. well over the top. Ahmed Fati with the effort. The tension continues. We are now into the final 30 seconds, a little bit of stoppage time I fancy, and well, it's penalties that await us. Clock continues to click down, and the Egyptians happy to keep possession, keep those dangerous Ivorian attackers away. So, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a thrilling finish to what must be said has been 2 hours of football without much in the way of classic entertainment. So often these days, cup finals go this way. The title at stake, of course, the top one on the continent, and no one wants to throw it away. So I think 1 minute of stoppage time. Referee has signalled to the fourth official. He's been a little slow in doing so. .1 minute now officially from the fourth official, Eddie Maillet of the Seychelles. Abdelimali, it's a fine ball. And Tizi will come out and collect. The crowd feeling there was a back pass, so does Shahata, but more an interception than anything. Kone. Well, there it is. Brings it to an end. So, penalties it will be to decide the Nations Cup for the third time in the last 4 editions. Egypt and the Ivory Coast end here goalless after 2 hours of football, and the drama has yet to be written. A long night in Cairo, and there is still more to come. We will go back to Randburg, and when they're ready to take the penalty kicks, rejoin us here in Cairo. 0-0 Egypt and the Ivory Coast.
Well, we've got there the dreaded penalty shootout. 120 minutes of football has not separated the Pharaohs of Egypt from the Elephants of the Ivory Coast. And Abedi, you were saying that you do not enjoy this, the penalty shootout. You don't like it.
No, I don't like it because I've been in that situation, both winning and then losing. And I think it's very bitter to struggle and get to the finals and then you lose the game by penalty kicks.
Well, that's the way it's going to end. The Egyptian fans out there, it's a tense moment for everybody involved. And imagine Mark being Ahmed Hassan, who's missed a penalty in a match that could have given them the title.
No, definitely. Honestly, for him, he was arguably the player of the tournament. So for that to happen, it's obviously disappointing for him and obviously Egyptian fans, because he would have won the game for them. But you know, for the players, it's just this is hero status. You know, you're going to take a penalty. Obviously, you're hoping to score, and then for the goalkeepers, this is win-lose situation. They can't lose in this situation. They can only come out as winners, and I'm sure they look forward to, and hopefully, may the best goalkeeper win. But obviously, we're still backing the Ivorians, and hopefully, Tizi will do the job for the Ivorians.
Well, Drogba, he's telling them, guys, same as what happened against the Cameroonians. Pick the same spot. Keepers never had a chance that day, and we went on to 12 penalties there. But, well, Neil, it's the dreaded. I mean, the coaches now, there's nothing you can do. The planning is over. It's in the lap of the gods now.
It is, and we discussed it earlier. If it goes to penalties, will the Ivorians be able to take such spectacular penalties as they took the other night? And, you know, two different games, different days, and you know, goalkeepers have a big part to play, and so it's going to be quite interesting to see how the Ivorians take the penalties tonight.
Abedi, what's he doing?
Hey, he's praying. He's calling all the gods that he knows or his grandparents know to be with him at this particular moment because he needs that. He needs that.
The ancestors. When the chips are down, you can always count on the ancestors to come through and assist you in moments like this. There's the Mr. Experience in goal there for Egypt. Al Hadari plays his football for Al Ahly and is a man that has produced several outstanding performances in the Nations Cup tournament to help the Egyptian side to the final already. He was also a member of the squad when Egypt last won the event back in 1988. That is experience that you need in goals. That is the kind of man that Egypt have as their first choice goalkeeper. Looking at Jean-Jacques Tizi, he made his debut back in a friendly in 1995. But waited 5 years before his second cap, and that was in 2002 in the start of the World Cup qualifying campaign. And he's the only African-based player in the Ivorian squad at the African Cup of Nations. So, you know, there's a little bit of interesting trivia for you to have him in goals. And Neil keeps pointing out to something. What are you pointing out?
The goalkeeper was there in '86 when I won the competition on penalties. So he's there tonight again. Let's see what he can do.
Back in '86 was when Egypt hosted the tournament.
86 or 96?
It was. He was part of the team that won the tournament. You're talking about Al Hadari now?
Yes.
Back in '88.
88.
When they won the tournament back in '88. So he was still an up-and-coming back in '86. Just
'86 they won the tournament.
Egypt won the tournament back in '86.
Yeah, not '88.
And then again, I think in '88.
No, Cameroon won the tournament in '88.
Was it Cameroon? Okay, so got it.
Look at the Quran. Did you see that?
Hey, he's reading it as well.
Look at it. Look at it.
98, when they last won it in 98.
Yes, that is where I was shocked.
Yeah, now we've got it. When they last won it in 98, Al Hadari
what is he talking about?
was in goal. Otherwise, he's been around forever. He was in goals back in 1998. Let's get that correct there. Al Hadari for Egypt. So, and it's already 2006 now, which shows you that how long he has been around as the Egyptian #1 goalkeeper. But
the coach was around in '88.
The coach?
Coach was a player, yeah. He was a player in '88.
No.
Was he not?
88, yeah, maybe 88, yeah, back in the days. Let's not confuse everybody now. So it's time now for that penalties to come your way, and well, you know, just pray to your gods. Think what you visualize which way. Do you know, as a keeper, do you pick one side and say I'm going to go that way the whole time? Are there any tricks?
No, but I mean the tricks will be today the rules that you can move both left and right, but moving just ahead of the ball you cannot do it. So maybe the goalkeepers will see what tricks to use today.
And Mark, does the lip, the chatting and the talking to the player before he takes a penalty, does that actually work? And the goalkeeper comes up and has a few things to say about your mother and your uncle, your cat, your dog, whatever?
I wouldn't know. I've never taken a penalty. I think you have to ask Zabedi that. I'm not a penalty taker, but I wouldn't think I would, because these players are so focused. And here we go, the captain taking the first penalty for the Egyptians. You know, he had the chance to win it during normal play, and hopefully he can put it away this time.
Let's go back to Mark Leeson as the man who missed the penalty earlier on. Ahmed Hassan steps up to face his demons.
Okay, it's not easy.
So having missed the penalty in the shootout, it's Ahmed Hassan who bravely steps forward to take the first in the shootout here. The Egyptian captain had an opportunity to settle the game in extra time for his country from the penalty spot. He hit the upright, the ball went away, and Ahmed Hassan now returns with the first kick against Jean-Jacques Tizi. The two goalkeepers will be the principal actors here now. Tizi being reminded that he must stay on his line. You may of course move up and down your line, but you may not move forward off it. And the referee saying that he will be keeping a close check on that. Two linesmen will assist him in that process. Ahmed Hassan has the responsibility. Egypt have won the toss and will be taking the first kick. It's always an advantage. You can keep yourself in the lead and keep the pressure on the team taking the kick second. So Hassan with the first kick in this penalty shootout to decide the Nations Cup and the destiny of the trophy. And on this occasion, he puts it in the back of the net. And Egypt have the start that they would have wanted. He must be commended for responsibility and accepting the calling of the captaincy, and how well he even picked the same spot. Hassan has gone away to the far side, almost in tears really, knowing that earlier opportunity he missed might well have settled it in favour of his country. So, first blood drawn by the Egyptians, now Essam Al-Hadri against Drogba, who converted 2 kicks in the last shootout in which the Ivorians were involved in against Cameroon. In the quarterfinals, wouldn't it be an irony? Drogba, oh, it's saved by Al-Hadri. There is the irony. It's a magnificent save by a man who's been named as the goalkeeper of the tournament, and provides evidence there. Egypt have the immediate advantage here. Didier Drogba, the talisman of the side, the catalyst of their continuation through to the final, misses, or rather has his first kick saved by Al-Hadri. Teammates consoling him. They've still got to go through these kicks. Abdel Waheb with the second for the Egyptians, the fullback against Tizi, sends him the wrong way. It's 2-0 now to Egypt, the host nation, joined by Mido, and even the wife of the president getting in on the act. It's Egypt with 2, and the Ivorians very much now on the back foot. A night on which Didier Drogba might well have shined. A stage set for him really has turned into a bit of a nightmare so far for the Ivorian captain. Now Kolo Toure. They're keeping the same sequence that they had in the shootout against Cameroon. He sends Al-Hadri the wrong way and silences the crowd at the same time. There's the bench. Henri Michel at the back there, really giving away a smile. Kolo Toure had a fairly easy conversion. The goalkeeper went a bit early on that one. Abdelalim Ali, who came on as a late substitute to take the third kick for the Egyptians. The Zamalek striker, 32 years old. Didier Zukoro looking for some inspiration from a divine source. Jean-Jacques Tizi hasn't saved the kick yet in 2 shootouts. Up against Abdelalim Ali, who misses, and misses badly. It's a horrendous miss. The crowd is stunned here. Tizi went the right way, but that was well wide from the Zamalek man. Now the Ivorians have a chance to bring it back to 2 apiece. Bakari Kone will be given that responsibility. El Saka, that's a demonstrative nation here, the Egyptians, and Abdelalim Ali bearing his heart on his sleeve there. What a horrible miss from the Zamalek man. He could have put them into a 3-1 lead. Instead, the Ivorians have a chance here to bring it back to 2 apiece. Bakari Kone came on as a sub, as did Abdelalim Ali against Al-Hadri. Oh, it's saved! The goalkeeper's come up tops again. It was a poor effort, and the initiative remains with Egypt. He went wide, so did Al-Hadri. The functionary save by his standards. Cool, calm and collected. Mido in there. Now he would have liked to have played and how silly his folly in the semi-finals. Kick number 4, Amr Zaki to take it for Egypt. And a chance to make it 3-1, put the Ivorians on the back foot. He scores! It's Egypt now 1 goal away from the Nations Cup. Tizi chooses the right corner, but is beaten by the pace. In fact, he got a hand on it. 3-1. If they miss this one, then Cote d'Ivoire have lost the Nations Cup. Egypt will be the winners. They were so effective against Cameroon, but they've had 2 of their 3 kicks saved in this shootout. It's the young Ibue. The last Arsenal man, Kolo Toure, scored. Can Ibue match him? If he misses it, Egypt are the champions. Ibue! It's 3-2. So, the tense faces on the bench there, but the Nations Cup is going to come down now to Abu Trika, a man who's certainly played his part in Egypt's progress to the final of this tournament, gets the opportunity here to win it for his country. Egypt score this, they are the Nations Cup winners. 3 out of 4. If it is scored, it's 4-2, and the Ivorians cannot come back. Abu Trika. Egypt win the Nations Cup. The home country have taken a 5th title and will celebrate late into the night here in Cairo. The Ivorians, who go to the World Cup, are runners-up. Hassan Shahata, who failed to lift it as a captain and as a player, gets to win the Nations Cup as a coach. Desperate disappointment for Didier Drogba and for the Ivorians. It wasn't a classic final, but it is, I suppose, the finish that the hosts were looking for. And Egypt win the Nations Cup and will go on to carry the crown of African champions until Ghana in 2008. This was the winning kick, Abu Trika, sending Jean-Jacques Tizi the wrong way and converting the kick to take his country onto the winner's podium. So after 21 days, after 2 hours of football here, finally we have a winner, and it's the host nation who will carry the trophy, and tonight will celebrate as only the Egyptians can. Egypt 4-2 winners on penalties after a goalless draw. They take the Nations Cup, and we hand you back to the studio.
Egypt are the African Cup of Nations winners in 2006. Egypt have won the trophy. They have won it now for the 5th time. Abedi, they are now the undisputed all-time winners of the African Cup of Nations. Ghana, Cameroon, you guys were there with them, but now this is number 5.
Yeah, I would say big congratulations to Egyptian teams, and then the organizers, the LOC, all those who have made this tournament possible. They've really had a great tournament, and the team has performed wonderfully from the beginning to the end. You can see the determination, the courage. They wanted to win, and then at the end of the day, they've won it.
They've done it, and look at that Cairo International Stadium. Look at that passion in that stadium. And interesting to see that Mido was allowed to stay with the team, and he is out there celebrating. And look at him and the coach are hugging and embracing, and Mido is right there with the team to celebrate. So that's nice. Nice touch there. The team and the coach are happy with each other.
Very nice touch. He had to do it. To win some face back with the fans. Very, very difficult situation for him not to be down there on the pitch, you know.
And Shahata is lifted up. the man who had won the African Cup of Nations as a player, is now the coach and has won it as well. And Al Hadari is over the moon. His performance in the penalty shootout was important. The Egyptian players are over the moon, and that man there, what a brave man to take that first penalty, Ahmed Hassan. But for Didier Drogba, it's turned out to be exactly opposite to what he predicted would happen. He said he was going to be the man. He said he'd come on and score 2 goals, and it hasn't gone that way. He's missed out on the penalty and missed a sitter.
You know, you said all these things, what Didier said just before the game. And I tell you, today's footballers, I don't know what is wrong with them. They talk before the game. You have to do the job after you can talk.
We'll just let Mark translate for us quickly. You're fluent in the Arabic language spoken in Egypt. So, no, we're actually not. So, yeah, guys, that's it. Egypt are the winners. And, Neil, you have to say, do we say deserved winners after 6 matches?
I say they deserve it, yes. They scored a lot of goals. They're a very well disciplined, organised team. And I suppose at the end of the day, they really did produce the goods. And yeah, it could have gone either way in a lot of matches. But I think in the end they deserve to win it. Yeah.
Undefeated in the tournament, the Egyptians. The only blip along the way was that draw with the Moroccans, 0-0 draw, which is not much of a blip if you think about it, Mark.
No, definitely. But as Neil said and as Betty said, I think it just deserved winners. The phenomenal tournament. Congratulations to everyone. Obviously it's not a nice way to. It's a nice way to win, but not a nice way to lose. He's on penalties, but there has to be a winner. And congratulations to the Egyptians and congratulations to Ivorians. They did themselves proud. They did the country proud, and hopefully the team will go back and the fans will go there to congratulate them because they did themselves proud. And once again, well done to the Egyptians, and hopefully South Africa can catch up to them. I know they won it 5 times. Let's hope we can win the next 4 tournaments. What are you laughing at, Neil?
I don't say anything.
Well, we'll have to start with Ghana, and part of the closing ceremony, Betty, which will be taking place, will be the handover of the flag to Ghana. Ghana will be hosting the next African Cup of Nations. The standard is set. Can we see a better tournament in Ghana?
A better tournament, yes, I think so, and I hope that we have a better tournament. But I think our preparation has been put in place. The president have made sure that and ensured that everything will be, set before that tournament, and he has guaranteed a wonderful, spectacular opening game in Accra. So, we are all, looking forward, and we want to host people to come and see what we've got in our, small country, beautiful country.
Okay, let's take you back, if you're just joining us, to what has led to Egypt winning the African Cup of Nations. We'll be looking at those incidents very, very shortly and taking you through to the penalties. Let's take a look at them and see exactly how things fell apart there. Started with this man, Abed Didier Drogba.
Yeah, I just don't want to talk about Drogba at this moment, but I want to talk about the goalkeeper. He has really won the cup, because saving 2 penalties at the time that the country and the players needed it, he made it. And then with Drogba, you could see that the goalkeeper knew where he was going to put the ball, so he went there 2 steps before the ball and he punched it away.
And then it looked like Abdul Khalam Ali had given his team a little bit of a disappointment there. It looked like he had given the Ivory Coast a chance to get back in the game.
No, definitely. He silenced the fans, but then I think when you get a chance like that, your opponents miss a penalty, you need to score, you need to make it count, and then obviously it didn't happen. Then with Drogba, he missed the first penalty, so he's already starting catch up, and it becomes very difficult. But as Abedi said, the goalkeeper was brilliant. He did win the cup for them. He did. To save 2 penalties, that's well done to him, and as again, well done to the Egyptians.
And then it was Abu Trika who stepped up and took the final one to give the Egyptians the title. And even President Hosni Mubarak had to get up very gingerly from that chair and celebrate with the rest of the 75 million Egyptians. These are live pictures coming through from the stadium. And as we understand it, President Mubarak will be coming down to award the trophy to the winning nation. And I'm sure it's exactly according to the script that he would have wanted. Very, very disappointed players there from the Ivory Coast, but that's football. One side smiles, joy, and the other side, they wish their hole would open up and swallow them.
That's what the game's about. It has to be a loser, and Yeah, we mentioned that on the penalty shootout. You know, that the contrasting other night never missed 1 and 12. You know, and here they go and miss 2 and 5. So different days, different performances.
Still, commiserations there all around, setting up now for the awarding of the trophies and the handing over of the awards as far as who the player of the tournament will be, and all of that is coming up very, very shortly. Before we get to all of that, as we look again at Abu Trika's penalty, let's take you to the MTN loaded moment.
Enjoy this MTN loaded moment. If it's on your mind, get it on your phone.
Abu Trika.
And it couldn't be anything else. It had to be that moment. The moment that Abu Trika stood up and had the opportunity to win the match and to win the trophy. He did it. That is our loaded moment.
Enjoy this MTN loaded moment. If it's on your mind, get it on your phone.
Oh my goodness. Who said grown men don't cry? And then look at the other side. He's up on the poles and celebrating. Abu Trika is getting congratulated by his teammates, and not a soul has moved in the stadium. All 75,000 Egyptians that came through for the match have made sure that they are staying there. They want to see the trophy raised up and enjoy that moment. That's what they have been waiting for the last 3 weeks or so. And well, you know, the host nation again comes through to win the African Cup of Nations. Always tough to beat a host nation.
Yeah, so you want to tell me that the next African Cup of Nations is coming to Ghana, so Ghana is going to win. I know the president have guaranteed that we're going to have a wonderful tournament, good grounds, good public, and I think we stand a better chance of winning, getting to the 5 times as well.
I guess if Bafana don't qualify for the tournament, that could happen, Betty. But if we do qualify, I don't see that situation being. Maybe in the final we'll be together there. But let's get back to this one. That's still coming. We'll come to Ghana 2008. Their players are making their way through. The Egyptian players, you know, you guys had already picked who you thought might be a player of the tournament, especially you, Neil. Your player of the tournament?
Without doubt, Ahmed Hassan. You know, yes, he missed a penalty in the final, but throughout the tournament he's been instrumental in the flow of the Egyptian game, and he's been instrumental in every move that they made, and himself scored 4 goals. It was a pity that he didn't take the penalty in the final, and I mean scored it in 90 minutes and become leading goal scorer with Eto'o.
That's actually going to be quite interesting, that Abedi, because the Golden Boot winner is not going to be here to receive the Golden Boot. Samuel Eto'o left a long time ago to get back to Barcelona, but 5 goals. And when you consider that he wasn't involved in 2 more matches, you know, 5 goals.
That's true. I think 5 goals was a lot for someone who haven't completed the tournament, and he's away, and no one could even match his amount of goals that he has scored. So I think that, like I said, the man of the tournament is the same man that the captain of the Egyptian team that I think has done very, very well. He's a leader.
Let's go to the presentation and hear what's taking place pitch side.
Son Excellence, Monsieur le Président Mohamed Hosni Moubarak, chers invités du monde entier, maintenant la remise de trophées et médailles à la 25e Coupe d'Afrique des Nations Égypte 2006. يتفضل رئيس اللجنة المنظمة السيد هاني أبو ريدة بتسليم علم البطولة لرئيس اللجنة المنظمة لكأس الأمم الإفريقية غانا 2008. The President of the local organizing committee, Mr. Hani Abu Reda, will hand over the championship flag to the President of the organizing committee of the Africa Cup of Nations Ghana 2008. Le président du comité local, Monsieur Hani Abu Reda, remet le drapeau du championnat au président du comité d'organisation de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations Ghana 2008.
Well, that's just a few of the announcements being made down there pitch side, and we're waiting for the dignitaries to make their way down to the side of the pitch. There's plenty still to take place. And first of all, we start with the medals being handed out, and it looks like the referees and the coordinator for the match will be the first up on the stage to collect their medals. Guys, performance of the referee, a lot was said about Mr. Dami before the match started. Happy with the performance that he put on today?
Well, I think he was okay. Maybe the penalty was a little bit doubtful, but the entire game he was really good.
And Mido is part of the squad there. I saw him walking past with the players. He's wearing one of those 2006 CAN champion shirts. So he's been re-embraced into the squad there. The Egyptians obviously having no malice and no anger against him. And there is Didier Drogba. Oh, how different he wanted this day to turn out and prove to the whole world that he is the best player on the African continent. There's no doubt he is amongst the best players in the African continent, but today's performance, I know you'll be very disappointed with the way it turned out for him. He missed an opportunity, a great opportunity to score, and missed a penalty in the penalty shootout. But they were brave and defeat the Elephants of the Ivory Coast. What a wonderful performance that they put on. I think many people thought they would have struggled to come through that their group. I mean, it was a tough group. Libya, Egypt and Morocco in their group came through that group, and from there on in just grew from strength to strength, and Mark eventually have given us a good final.
No, definitely did, and obviously, as we said, there has to be a winner. The Egyptians won, but as we said earlier, full credit to the Ivorians. You know, I think they got better and better as the tournament as they got further in the tournament. And you know, unfortunately, as we said, there has to be a loser. And as I said, you know, they did the country proud, and we wish them all the best.
And I'm sure the Ivory Coast will say, you know, we did this well, we got to the final, and we did it without one of our key players. I mean, the whole tournament did it without Aruna Dindani there, who was him and Didier Drogba, when they are playing together, it's almost like they're connected telepathically, Neil. They score a lot of goals together, and it was, I'm sure, Henri Michel, a blow to what he would have wanted to have the Ivory Coast do, missing a player of that quality.
Yeah, and the striker is always vital to a team winning the AFCON, and and especially when Drogba was missing a few chances, you know, could have made one or two substitutions different, so yeah, they did miss him immensely.
There's the referee, and he will be the first man up to collect his trophy. Referee Morad Dami, and well, before the tournament match did start, this was his second African Cup of Nations final. He refed the final back in 2000 in Lagos between Cameroon and Nigeria, and on that day was involved in a little bit of controversy there when Victor Ekpeba's penalty in that penalty shootout crossed the line, but he judged it not to have crossed the line, and Nigerians, I don't think, will ever forgive that man there, referee Morad Dami. And also the referee's using this opportunity to get some autographs from President Mubarak. That's unusual.
On the match ball, yeah.
And a little bit special there, and the president is willing to oblige all of that. And every single one of the officials wants a ball there now. They're all going to have it signed by the president, so this could take a while. If every player come up with a ball and every official.
Exactly, all the players are going to come with balls anyway, so.
You're not allowed to be naughty now, Mark. Let's concentrate on what is taking place there on the field. And well, it's, you know, I thought the presentation was going to take place on the field, but it looks like for security reasons it's been moved up into the stands there to make sure that the president remains safe from any potential harm. But yeah, it's going to be a great moment when Egypt step up there to collect their trophy. Neil, you know, you've been here, you've done this. Does it bring back memories for you?
Yeah, great memories. Very special occasion, even for the coach there. You can see, you know, it'll long live in his memories for years and years to come. And as I said, on a day, you must cherish the moment and don't forget about it. Don't let it pass you by.
Did you do that at the time? Or are you giving this advice based on a mistake that you made?
No, I'll live every moment.
So you savored the moment?
Yeah, savored the moment, yeah.
Egyptians still celebrating Coach Shahata and his technical team there. Well, not too many people would have believed it was possible. The Egyptian side was said to be not quite strong enough to lift the title, but good enough maybe to get to the quarterfinals or maybe even the semi-finals, but they've gone all the way, and now the trophy being handed to the best referee and best assistant referee at the tournament, and there we go with those trophies also being handed out. Officiating at the tournament has come under some scrutiny, and now being ushered forward is the team from the Ivory Coast, the defending champions. And here they come. But before that, it's the trophy, I think that was the trophy for the Fair Play Trophy.
It goes to Nigeria, maybe. It was the man who collected it.
And now come Didier Drogba, captain of the Ivory Coast.
Silver medals for the runner-up team of the 25th Africa Cup of Nations. Les médailles d'argent pour l'équipe classée deuxième à la 25e Coupe d'Afrique des Nations. Muntakab, Côte d'Ivoire. L'équipe de Côte d'Ivoire.
It's not so bad, guys. I'm sure they could afford a little smile. It's not. I mean, at least second place. It's not as bad.
Well,
as
yeah. Well, I think that Ivory Coast have done a great job. I mean, they shouldn't lose hope, because they've got the World Cup also to go. And this performance here, with the kind of strikers they've got, the future is very, very bright. Aruna Kone, Drogba,
Aruna
Dindani, and then the other Kone, Bonaventure, the other young Kone. I think about 5 young strikers. It's going to be very difficult for other countries who are going to match them in 2 years or 3 years.
And if you're wondering who the Ivory Coast will be playing at the World Cup, they have Holland, Serbia and Montenegro and Argentina in their group. So that is a rough group. Serbia and Montenegro, I think, conceded 1 goal in qualifying for the World Cup. Holland don't need any introduction into, everyone says they're the best team never to have won the World Cup, the Dutch side, and then Argentina. Well, the way that they played in the recent Confederations Cup, they are going to be there and thereabouts, played in the final against Brazil. So Henri Michel, the grey hair is just starting for him. The World Cup is going to be a monstrous task with a group like that. Looking forward to it.
Yes, they are, and here they might not be smiling, but at least they've got something to look forward to, in a couple of months' time, and they'll still be preparing. As you say, they've got a very young team, up-and-coming team, a dangerous team. They can do a lot of damage in that tournament, and so they've got at least something to look forward to after today.
Yeah, they will be one of the countries flying the flag for Africa, the Ivory Coast, at the World Cup in Germany, which starts on the 10th of July, if I'm mistaken. 10th of June. 10th of June. Starts on the 10th of June and will go through a month in Germany, and they will be in that group there. That is a really tough group, but the way they've played here, don't write the Ivory Coast off as not being able to give at least one of those nations a big surprise. And then here comes the man of the moment, the man who stood up to Mido, pointed to the crowd after Amir Zaki scored in the semi-final and said, I am number one, I am the coach, I am in charge of the Pharaohs, and came through to win the title. And well, there you have it. Hassan Shehata, the man in charge of the Pharaohs of Egypt, is first up to collect the medal there from President Mubarak, as well as the president of CAF, Issa Hayatou, and the entire Egyptian nation will stand up as one. And really have to say that Shehata was a brave man. He left out his top striker for the final. Made quite a few controversial decisions. Bringing in Hassam Hassan into the side was another one, and everything he did just turned out to be gold.
The right decision. I think, I give him as one of the coaches who were in a very, very difficult position because of the public, they playing at home and all the media. But at the end of the day, all the decisions that he made, it was very successful, and I'm happy that once a coach stood in front of his best player and told him that, look, I'm the boss here, go back and sit down. And at the end of the day, he has won the trophy, so justice has paid.
And we've seen that problem at the Cup of Nations before. I mean, Stephen Keshi had a problem with Adebayor. didn't quite have that same confrontation on the field, but a similar situation, and it worked the other way for the side from Togo. They didn't come through as well because of those internal strife, but Egypt were able to overcome, and they just can't wait. None of those players can wait. They want to get their medal, they want to shake hands with the president, and they want to get on to celebrating being the African continent's champions for a record 5th time, now overtaking Cameroon and also overtaking the Black Stars of Ghana as 4-time winners. And that is something very, very special. They won it back in 1957, they won it back in 1959, then in 1986 as hosts at the same stadium, and in 1998 they were victorious once again in Burkina Faso with the Egyptian nation, and now they can add 2006 Egypt victory at the MTN African Cup of Nations. And well, when the home side wins, and I guess it's not every day you get a chance to meet the president, everybody has a word to say, everybody has something that they need to have signed, and Al Hadari gets a loud cheer from the crowd. What a hero in the penalty shootout. Saved 2 of them. Bakary Koné's penalty was saved by him, as was the penalty from Didier Drogba, saved by a goalkeeper who plays his trade right here on the African continent, which shows you that you don't have to be from Europe to be a hero. Just have to be focused and concentrate and do what you need to do, and you can stop even the most expensive players from around the world from putting one beyond you. Every single one of the players there can really, really be proud of the performance that they have put together at this MTN African Cup of Nations. And a few words there to the president there as well. Wish you could hear the conversations.
Missed the penalty.
When you went up, Neil, to take the trophy, did Madiba and de Klerk was also there, right? That day?
They all were there, yeah.
And did they have a few things to say to you when you went up?
Obviously, unifying the country, and it was an important time period in South African history, and so a few words, and it was great.
Anything you remember?
Yeah, I just said, you've done us proud, and let's hope that the country can now really, really go forward.
Who was that? Madiba?
Yeah.
Right, it's not every day that you get those kind of inspirational words. Mark, you also went up on that podium. Did you have a few words with the 2 presidents at the time?
No, just shook the hand. I just wanted to get off the stage as quick as I can, because men of that stature, I don't know if you can be close to them for such a long time, but I just want to run around the field. I think I took all my clothes off. I think I ran around in my underpants because I was so elated. Threw my boots, and then I actually nearly threw my underpants, and someone just said to keep it on. So, but it's it's a wonderful experience. We've all experienced it, and to be a winner, to win it in your home country, it's the best feeling. It's the ultimate, and once again, well done to the Egyptians.
Hopefully the Egyptians spare us that underpants scene a little bit later on. I hope they just keep everything on and run around the field there. But still a few more of the Egyptians filing past, and their 23-man squad. Another thing that is a sign now, Abedi, that I don't know if coaches are going to look at it, but 19 out of 23 players in this Egyptian squad play their football in Africa, in Egypt, and we seem to have this thing across most of the countries in Africa that says your players must be in Europe, they must be playing in Europe, otherwise you can't win anything.
Hey, my friend, don't even go there. Hey, we have to keep on. Egypt look after their players very well. They are professional. If you go and you look at the facilities that they've got, the various teams, and the European teams goes there for training camps and other things. So you can't compare the Egyptian or Tunisian or Moroccan to our side of Black Africa. So just let's keep our old tradition by bringing our players who are playing outside to come and do the job for us. But having said that, I want to congratulate the coach, who have been a former player, who have won the trophy as a player and then as a coach. I think today he will be on top of the world.
Both times on penalties, so he's got something back his feet.
Like he has won it.
Don't want to play Shahata when there's penalties to be taken. He knows all about that. And all the Egyptians, Neil, I think I'm following your advice. They are savouring the moment. No one is rushing past to quickly get down to celebrate. They are taking every minute that they can to spend time with the president of Egypt, and well, he's having to be directed there, Osama San, and he's a record breaker in himself. 167 caps, has been at 7 African Cup of Nations, and that is something very, very special. But I think we can safely say, Abedi, that Hossam Hassan will not play at another Cup of Nations.
Well, who know? I mean, we cannot say that he's not going to play. But I mean, what he has done is really beautiful for his countrymen. I mean, and he's lucky that the tournament was being played in Egypt, in his own land. So I think there is nothing more interesting or beautiful than what he's experienced at this material moment. But I think he has done a great job. 39 years, and he has scored. He has played closer to 90 minutes in one of the games. He scored. Hey, I tell you, he's a great achiever.
Still, just a few more players to come through, and it looks like he's the last man, the oldest man in the team. He's waiting for that big cheer from the crowd, and I'm sure you'll get a massive, massive cheer. And then right behind him, the captain will come back again and collect his trophy.
He is the captain. I don't know if, on the day where the captain on the day receives the trophy, but he is the official Egyptian captain, I think.
Hossam Hassan?
I'm not mistaken. He is the official captain.
And
he's the official captain.
the 39-year-old. Oh my goodness, what a moment. Champions of Africa, 7 times at the African Cup of Nations, 167 caps to his name, and what could be more fitting than him lifting the trophy for the Egyptians? The fireworks start in the stadium, the celebrations are officially underway. 75 million people, and that city, Cairo, the most populous, biggest city on the African continent with 15 million people in it. Abedi, if we had our private jet, we'd go up there and with Neil and Mark and just enjoy the celebrations.
One thing very, very fantastic that I have observed by making him the official captain, because in various African countries, when they win the trophy, the one who wears the band runs quickly. He doesn't want even someone of maybe a little bit older than him to be in front, and it has shown us a whole lot of experience that look, the one who have been in the team for so long must lead the team at that material moment. No, captain doesn't make any difference.
The fireworks are going off. The stadium is still packed, absolutely packed. Everybody hasn't moved, and these are great scenes coming through from Cairo. You know, it gives a person goosebumps to think about what it must be like to be in that city and out on the streets. And just the Egyptian players, the pharaohs, just giving a vote of thanks there to their God as well as to the Egyptian nation. And remember hearing before the game started, Barakat saying, Allah willing, Egypt will win the trophy. And it looks like it was a day where Allah was willing that Egypt should go through and win this trophy, the 25th edition of the MTN African Cup of Nations. And guys, as a whole, are we happy with this tournament? I mean, I think something like 72 goals were scored in the tournament in all. Are we happy with what we saw? Did the African continent really show, Mark?
Definitely. I think it was a very successful tournament, and as we said earlier, and as Betty said, and Neil echoed our sentiments to the Egyptian Federation, to CAF, to African football. It was superb, and long may it continue.
Abedi, your take on the tournament as a whole?
Well, I have nothing to say. I think Fish have said it all. For us who have played in Europe, and everybody in the European continent thinks that African Cup is a Mickey Mouse tournament, I tell you, this will prove them wrong.
And then, what do you think there, Neil?
Well, I think everything's been spoken about the organisation of the tournament. I must say the standard of the football in the tournament was very, very high. Very, very, and it was really of a great standard, and just shows you where African football has become.
And really does show every nation across the continent that the MTN African Cup of Nations is not a tournament to be underestimated. You got to bring your full guns, you got to bring the best team available, otherwise you will not get far. There is an absolutely fantastic tournament, and the best have come through. Egypt are the champions. But there's still one more announcement to make, because we've been running a competition. We've been giving away those Apple iPods, and now every single person who entered that competition went into the draw for the big prize. 5 days in Cairo, 2 people, spending money, as well as everything else that you could want, the accommodation and all of that. So we will get first Grant James, you have won yourself the iPod Shuffle for today. You're our last winner as far as that is concerned. Congratulations to you. Now for the big one, the big announcement. The grand prize winner is Thabo Moloi. He has got himself that 5-day trip to Cairo and all the accommodation, the flights, the spending money, all of that, and he can take a special sweetie lavo along with him to enjoy the trip. So that is terrific, absolutely wonderful. Thabo Moloi, I hope that you enjoy that prize, and congratulations once again. It's nice that Egypt have won. It's also nice that South Africa has also won something, because this competition was open to everyone across the continent, and Thabo, clearly a South African, has taken the big prize there. So that's it, guys. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to say thank you to all of you guys. Neil, it was great working with you. Abedi, really appreciate that you've come down from Ghana. And Abedi, you'll be leading the Ghanaian delegation. The president has officially appointed you the head of the delegation to go with the Black Stars to the World Cup. So congratulations on that appointment. What will we see from the Black Stars at the World Cup?
Well, it's going to be great. The Black Stars you're going to see a different Black Stars altogether. I think we've made some mistakes somewhere along the line. We're going to rectify all those mistakes, and then you see the continent is going to see a different Black Stars.
And then finally, Mark, thanks a lot for coming back home, and I know we're going to see you more often in South Africa soon. You have a plan to come back?
No, definitely, and thanks for being on, allowing me to come onto the show. And I just heard that Abedi's going to the World Cup as a delegate. I was hoping it goes as a player. I was hoping it goes as a player, but I don't want to start something. But it's wonderful to sit here with Neil again. Having lifted the trophy with him, and Abedi, African football proper legend, and you. A legend on the Super Sports, and it's been superb, and thanks very much.
Thank you very much to them, the guys here in the studio, and not forgetting the guys who didn't make it onto our panel as far as the final was concerned. Ida Peterside, Jeff Katala, Mark Omar, Mamadou Gay, and the list goes on and on and on. They were all fantastic, terrific, really added great value to the tournament, and I hope you at home appreciated what they did for you. But Africa, that's it. As far as the MTN African Cup of Nations is concerned, the World Cup is next. But to see Africa again, like we've seen them, the way that we saw them this time around, we'll have to wait for Ghana in 2008. See you there.